welcome to Unity of Little Rock. So let's take a moment and just get centered in prayer. If you're comfortable closing your outer eyes, together let's take a deep breath in. A little pause at the top and a gentle release. We allow ourselves to come fully into this moment, fully present in the now. And together, we open our hearts and our minds, and we sanctify this time together, knowing that we have each come here both to be a blessing and to receive a blessing, for the joy and excitement, for the love and connection. We simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Okay, I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. You know, at Unity, we like to say there are many paths to the one presence. And the one presence and the one power we often call God. But we also call spirit. We also call mystery, we also call substance and source, but there's that presence and power present in everything. I mean, there's just nothing that is not an expression of God, including each and every one of you. And that source and that power expresses as you in our world. And we appreciate the diversity of thought processes, belief systems. Yeah, we encourage you to believe in a more positive way and to look for the good in life, but we also appreciate the contrast that having other beliefs bring into our experience, other orientations, other ways of being in the world. And we just call that unapologetically inclusive. So we have a vision statement, and many of you in this room were at our workshop where we worked on that. Let's say it together. A unified, diverse world embracing divine connection and inclusion for all. This is our vision for ourselves, and we have control over that, but also as we are that in the world, we bring that into the world, and we can see that more and more coming alive. Even though sometimes maybe the attention of the media or whatever is focused on the opposite of that, we can hold what we know to be true, that we value this, and the more that we bring that into the world, that we acknowledge the wonder and the beauty of diversity and inclusion together. Right? We can't, how boring would it be if we all were the same? We all believed the same. And so our mission, and that's how we get to that vision, right? So let's say this together. To shine light, peace, and love by empowering and transforming lives through experiences of service and community. So we come here on Sundays, but we also have other opportunities to come together. And recently, a small group, unfortunately I missed that day, went to the Pride celebration to make sure that people in that community knew that there are loving open arms here. Angela's working on organizing some outreach for us to go into the community as a group and show up. And that's, you know, as we're small, right? So we're rolling it out as we can, but we want to be a presence. We want to show our hearts to the people in our world. So, Angel, will you come and present the Christ candle?
Good morning.
Good morning.
For every being, the light of Christ shines through each of us, illuminating the world around us. Each one of us is a keeper of the light, shining through us to bless each person and each situation we encounter. We light this candle as a symbol of our light in Christ, so we may remember the light that shines in each one of us, no matter where we are.
Angel. And when we light the Christ candle, we're not lighting the candle of a man named Jesus. We're lighting a candle of the consciousness of the Christ, which is that broader, welcoming, inclusive consciousness that exists in the world. And I put namaste up here because that, from the Sanskrit tradition of in Sanskrit language, means the light in me beholds the light in you. And so when we hold that Christ consciousness for ourselves, then we also can see that reflected back to us through those around us. So, Angel, were you also going to lead us in the opening statement?
And we say together, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent.
Thank you so much, Angel. So this is another restatement of our first unity principle, right? That there's only one presence and one power. We name it good. The one presence and one power includes everything on all ends of the spectrum, right? That which is light and that which is dark. It's all part of that which we call the presence and the power, and that truth, which we call God. It's all part of that. Where we put our attention, where we choose to put our focus, is on the good, because we know that when we put our focus on something, we find more of it. And what do we want more of? We want more goodness. We want more love and peace and joy, and we want to shine that light. And we have that ability to do that. So is anybody here for the first time? I don't think so. But if we did have first timers, this was the point in the service where we would be really excited to welcome them. And I don't think we have anybody new. I don't even know if anybody is online. I'm trying to see if I can see. Looks like we have one person who joined us online. Welcome. And I'm not sure if they're a new person or not. It's hard to do both, but we're a small group, so we have to manage the online and people in the room at the same time. So you all know that unity was founded on prayer. That's Charles and Myrtle Fillmore learned the power of prayer for themselves. Myrtle by a healing of tuberculosis, which she had suffered with her entire life, and Charles by his own physical. He had a leg that was shorter, which that took a lot longer, but he kept working on it. But once they learned these principles of prayer, they got people together to help them learn prayer. They weren't trying to start a church or a movement. They just wanted people to know. And they used to have this newsletter they would send out, and they would have treatments, I guess they call them in some of the New Thought groups, but they would send them out for people to learn how to really pray. And so, because
Sorry.
that's okay. Oh, that's you online. Okay. That's the other person online. So in Unity, we have a tower on the premise of Unity Village. And in that tower is Silent Unity prayer service. And so somebody is holding vigil 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sitting in a room with all the prayer requests. So when you submit it online, as you can here, or you mail it in, or you call this phone number, all of those prayer requests, or if you submit it here and we send it up, they all go into this room where there's been non-stop prayer for over 130 years. Can you imagine? If you go in that room, you physically feel the energy of prayer. And if you call Silent Unity, you don't have to have a big problem. You can just want prayer because it feels good. You don't have to call them in distress. But when they do, I've listened in, and I've told you guys this before, but you just hear that moment where the prayer seeks in. It comes into the being of the person calling for prayer, and you hear them take a deep breath, and relief comes over them. It's just beautiful. And that's what we are here to do and share with one another. And we'll talk a little bit at the end of the service, but we're offering a prayer class, affirmative prayer class in July, so that you can learn. You know, you can pray with people, and I call them sneaky prayers, where you just start affirming for people what they need, and you are praying in that moment as you are affirming that truth over the circumstances, right? So it doesn't have to be like, okay, let's take a moment and close our eyes, and you can just start giving them that juice of affirmative prayer. And you'll see when you do that for people, and you might have had someone do that for you before, it feels so good, and you feel that truth just begin to resonate in your being. So we're going to learn to do that in July 20th, I think it is. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, 20th. So let's just take a moment now, and together we'll join in prayer, because we know that as we do that, we were talking about physics earlier, that constructive interference, right? When our energy of prayer comes together, it amplifies. So let's just close our eyes once again. And we'll return to that stillness that we created in the very beginning of our time together today. And take a deep breath in and release. Returning to that present moment, this time now, that's unique in and of itself. It's an opportunity that we are co-creating. And we are affirming the highest and best through the activity which we call prayer. It doesn't matter what the request might be, if you've written it down or if you're holding it in your heart. That substance, that power, that presence in the universe we call God already knows, because that desire was placed in your heart by that presence. If you're asking for connection, relationship, wealth, well-being, health, wholeness, there's no degree of prayer. There's no prayer more worthy or less worthy. There's nothing too small or too great to call upon the presence and the power that we call God. So in this moment, we affirm truth. We affirm, regardless of the appearance, regardless of circumstances, we know that we can call on truth, and we can claim our good. Claim it for ourselves or for another, and for our world. And for this truth and so much more, we simply say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Can I say something about the silent unity?
Sure.
Every time I call, it is so nice, but they do this thing that is really neat, is they send you your prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And every single point that I got back, the prayers were answered by them. Mm-hmm. Not in the way that I thought they were going to,
Mm-hmm.
but in a better way that was for my higher good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's so comforting when you give them, and I'm like, I didn't even know that they did this.
Yeah, and then you can track that prayer was answered.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we have to learn, is to look for the ways in which our prayers are actually answered. It may not be,
It's almost like magic.
if there was a such thing as magic, then it would be magic, right? But it's really the outworking of the law. When we make ourselves present to that prayer and that knowing, it does seem like magic, but it's not. It's just the law. It is what we are empowered here as human beings on this earth to live and express every single day. If we can just keep our willingness, keep our hearts and our minds open. So I don't know if anybody's listening online, but Pam was talking about how all of her prayers when she's called Silent Unity have all been answered. And rarely in the way that she expected, but always answered.
Yes.
And yeah, I was recently talking with someone who was going through a really tough time and facing some interpersonal things. And I didn't say you should, I said what I do when I'm in the midst of something like that is I ask myself, what was I praying for right before this happened? Because, we were probably asking to go pretty deep, because when we need to go deep, it's like the lotus flower, right? There's lots of mud and muck before the flower blooms. And so sometimes when we pray, we think that means we're just going to have an awakening and suddenly we know, but we got to go through our human self to get to that often. And sometimes it's just messy. But if we name it good and we look for what is my lesson, what am I trying to learn here? What is my soul calling out to know? Then we'll find out. We'll see it. We'll hear it. It'll come to us in so many ways. Sometimes it's somebody on the elevator we don't even know, but they happen to be saying a thing or wearing a t-shirt or something, and you know that is your answer right there in front of you, and you wouldn't have looked for it there.
Yep.
Who knew? Okay, so today Astra is going to read the daily word for us. Oh, microphone, right there.
Okay, so today's daily word is guidance. And we have guidance. With an open heart and mind, I heed divine guidance. If I am feeling lost or do not know which way to turn, I take comfort in knowing I can pray and bring my awareness to my connection with God. Wherever I am on my spiritual journey, I receive divine guidance continually. And it is up to me to heed it. Divine guidance does me little good if I doubt it or feel too hesitant to act upon it. I commit to remaining open and receptive as I receive my guidance. Even if the call of my heart surprises me, even if I doubt I can do what I'm being called to do, I trust the still, small voice within. I affirm I am divinely guided and faith-filled. And the Bible verse, the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your needs in parched places and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters never fail. And that's Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11.
So will you guide us together in saying the affirmation?
Oh, yes. Together, saying the
Maybe
affirmation.
step back so everybody can see it. There you go.
With an open heart and mind, I heed divine guidance.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't have to say together. That's just a reminder that we're going to say it together. Thank you. Okay. So, my favorite Karen Drucker song, Breathe. So, I like to torture you with meditation, make you sit in it for a while. So, we're going to listen to this song, Then I'll guide us through a meditation, and then we'll listen to another song before we go into the talk. So if you will, just sit with your spine straight. Uncross your hands and your feet. I like to use just an open-handed mudra, just open and receptive, but you can use whatever mudra works for you. Together, let's take a deep breath in and release. Just continuing to breathe at your own rhythm. Fully present in this moment. Bring your attention to your nostrils. As the air is moving in and moving out. As the air is breathing in, it's just a little bit cool. And as you're breathing out, it's just a little bit warmer. Breathing in, cooler. And breathing out, warmer. Now, allow your attention to follow that breath as it moves deeper and deeper within. Moving into your secret place of the Most High. You've been here before. It's where you began. It's where you surrender to the very truth of your being. And you know that you are love. You are joy. And you are peace in this world. Relax into this very truth of your being and allow yourself to notice how you radiate from every cell of your being. The light and the love and the truth of your presence as presence. Just a moment in the silence.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free. As I continue walking in this mystery. I surrender to my greatest, highest good. I release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am kinder every moment, every day. I'm more loving every moment, every day. I surrender every moment, every day.
Just taking a deep breath in and release. Bring our attention back to this moment and this time. You might want to move your hands and your feet a little bit just to shift. Become fully present in this room at this time. And together we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So, this month the topic has been obstacles. And so, yeah, so our little write-up was getting out of our own way. And the title of the talk today is really, is it me? Yes. The answer is yes, it is. It is me, always. It's me, it's me, it's me. It's Ernest T. Was that Mayberry? Mayberry RFP? Where was he? He said, it's me, it's Ernest T. Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to do a little review on some of the things that we've talked about recently when I've been speaking. And then Jeannie's brought in a little bit, too, of Michael Beckwith's 4 stages of spiritual development, right? Initially, things are happening to me, and then we realize we're co-creators and they're happening by me, and then through me and as me. It's a progression of consciousness. But I want to break it down a little bit because we've just kind of referenced it. But this psychological concept of locus of control is really key in getting out of that first to me mindset. Because if your locus of control is completely external, things you believe that everything outside of you is the reality and it's just happening and you are just dealing with what's happening, what's coming at you. But when you have an internal locus of control, you realize that you actually can affect change and you can make choices and have thoughts and dominion over yourself, as the Bible would say, and make those transformation just a critical part of your life. If we don't do that, if we stay in a victim mentality, we are keeping ourselves locked up. We are holding ourselves back. And we all have been there. We've all experienced it. We've all felt like a victim at times. And we know other people who are in that place. But we have hope because we can make different choices. I love this scripture from Luke 6:41 and 42. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but you do not notice the log in your own? Or how can you say to your neighbor, friend, let me take out the speck in your eye, when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye? So when we learn spiritual concepts, so many times we start what we call metaphysical malpractice. We start shooting on people, right? Oh, well, you should. Don't you know that you created this? And, that's not helpful. These concepts are only constructive and only useful when we embrace them for ourselves. When we choose to look at life from a different perspective. We can't point our finger around at others. That's not the point of it, right? That's that external locus of control. You think everything's happening outside of you, when in fact everything is happening from within you. And this is the transformational power of a spiritual journey. So these first two levels, to me and by me, victim consciousness, obviously, to me, you're in your human self, right? You're not even close to understanding where you are spiritually. But then you get this idea of, oh, I'm a co-creator. Maybe you're going to start manifesting, people like this believe and receive ideas. But it's still on that personality, that level of, I can make a list, I can create a treasure map. There's nothing wrong with that. It's useful because it helps us shift out of the victim. We're like, it's not magic. We know how we can create these things. It's cause and effect, which is a very basic metaphysical law, right? There's cause and effect. When you have an effect in your life, look for the cause, right? Just like I said earlier, when you're really going through it, what were you praying for? Because it's probably part of that journey to take you to that place you've desired. But we're still, at this point, we're still operating from personal. But then we want to get to that soul level of operation, where we're actually understanding that life happens through me because I am a co-creator. I can have influence, not necessarily the whole goal setting. You can achieve things that way. But like Pam was explaining about her prayers, the prayers were answered, but not in the way in which she thought was best. Because in our human nature, when we decide what the outcome must be, and that's it, you can have that happen. It's going to be more effort and it's going to limit you because we have our human self as our own restriction or our own limitation. But when we let it come from that flow of the universe, everything is possible. And so many times it's something we never could have conceived of on our own through our human devices. And of course, once we get to this level of as me, and we understand that we're pure being and we're oneness and we're part, there's no separation between us and what's manifesting in the world, that's the enlightened level. But you might ask, how do we get there? And it's through surrender. That's how we go from personality to divinity, because we're both all the time, right? And I think it was Pierre Desjardins who said, we're not just a human being having an occasional spiritual experience, we're a spiritual being having a human experience. So on the level of soul, we want these experiences because they help us to grow, they stretch us, they expand us, they cause us to become more fully who we've come into this human experience to express. Without them, ho-hum, bore, I mean, if you just had, like, every day was, sunshine and lollipops, then you would never really understand the contrast of how good it can be because you've gone through how rough it can be. We need the contrast as a human being to integrate and understand these concepts. So surrender is the key. Surrender equals freedom, which actually sounds like an oxymoron, right? Because we think we're surrendering our control, and if we're surrendering control, how can we be free? Because we think control makes us free because we get all the choices. But we do get all the choices, and we have to trust and understand the unfolding process is from a place beyond our conscious mind. It happens from that inner resource, from that all, from that wellspring of all there is. And we're, as human beings, we just have too many limitations, sadly. At the same time, we have no limitations if we understand principle. That's the trick. So I want to introduce you to, some of you might know David R. Hawkins' work. He was a psychiatrist as well as a researcher. So he's an MD, he's doctor. He's an MD and a PhD. So he was working with people in psychiatry, but he also wanted to really understand what was going on beyond that. And there's a lot of research in his work. This is not a current book, really. 2012, I think, is when it was published. You might have known his initial work, Power versus Force. Really, really good work. Well, he created what's called a map of consciousness. And it's kind of hard to see. I tried to blow it up as much as I could. But on the lower level, he calls this the survival paradigm. When you look at these lower emotional states, guilt, shame, these are the states that people try to evoke in us so that we're easy to control. When you're unempowered, when you're easily manipulated with guilt and shame and fear, then other people can have power over you. But as we move up into higher states of emotional well-being, we're less and less controllable because we know who we are, and we know that we can actually choose that we want to get to the next state. And he even puts a number with it and connected it with what's called muscle testing. But I will tell you, you're not testing a muscle, you're actually testing energy, energy flowing through the muscle. It's called muscle testing, but you're not testing the strength of the muscle. You were going to say something?
Did you do these colors, or that was?
No, this is just one of his charts I pulled off.
Chakra color.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And you know that the red color is that lower level chakra, which is where a lot of those tribal, energy is. And as you move up, the colors are, your higher level chakras, which vibrate higher. So there's a color correlation, chakra correlation. He doesn't really talk so much about it, but he doesn't exclude anything either. He's very focused on the whole self. But anyway, I can't really go into all the details of this, but you can just see by the words that are used here, as you're going up into higher states, you move towards the spiritual paradigm where we have love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. So this surrender is how we move there. Surrendering to what is, becoming aware, and then, as we'll look at in this process, letting it go. So become aware of something. Sometimes, like I had a real struggle with this recently in dealing with my contractor. It was just, I didn't know how to get them to work. And so I caught myself saying, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. And then I'm like, oh, stop saying that, because my body is beginning to listen to that, and it's beginning to respond in a way that was not helpful to me, because I was choosing my thought and my word overwhelm, which is not a positive emotional state at all. And then one day when we had a conflict, my energy centers just went totally fried. And it took me a while to say, no, I choose peace. I am coming back to center. I will no longer give my control of myself over to another human being who doesn't have my best interests at heart. It's rare that you could just give yourself over to someone else's control, right? You need to be in control. I remember one time decades ago, I called my friend Rebecca, who lives in Atlanta, and I said, I just can't make any decisions today. Can I call you every time I need to make a decision just for one day? And she said, sure, I'll make all your decisions today. And I did. That one day, I called her every time I needed to choose something. And she was so sweet about it, and she let me do that. And you know, that's not something I'm very comfortable with. I'm an independent woman, but I trusted her enough that I needed it. I don't even know why, but I needed to be able to just give that over to her for one day, as crazy as that sounds. And it helped me. It just took the lid off the pressure cooker for that one day. But in his book, it's called Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. Fantastic book. And it really goes into various emotions and things like that. But here's how he describes it. When you have a feeling, now we could debate all day long, does your thought trigger a feeling, or does your feeling trigger a thought? Chicken and egg, right? Both and. It depends on what's happening, right? But when you notice a feeling, sometimes, let's say you have a little in your solar plexus, so you have a little zzz. So you could say, I'm feeling anxious about something. Or you could take a deep breath and you could say, I'm anticipating something. Find nuance there, but what does one give you? Fear, anxiety, and the other gives you hope and possibility. Curiosity is a very good one to bring to everything that we do. So when we have a feeling that comes up, and sometimes, honestly, I don't know if you all are as highly suggestible as I am, but sometimes it's just something somebody said in passing. Like if I start cursing a lot, then I know I've been around somebody somewhere that's been cursing a lot, because I just start doing it. And I don't even mean anything by it. It just comes out in my face. And I'm like, wait, that's not really resonant with how I'm feeling right now. And I have to catch myself. But that's why these commercials just hit you over and over on TV. You know, just mute the TV while the commercials are on. Don't let yourself be dragged into every salacious image and every face of joy of something somebody's eating or whatever. Have dominion over yourself and choose. So what he's suggesting is when you have a feeling, especially if it's in that lower range, right? If it's fear, anxiety, guilt, depression, shame, don't push it down. This is what we tend to do, right? Ooh, that didn't feel good. I'm going to shove it over here. But then energetically, you're just giving it power. You're giving resistance, as they would say in Buddhism, right? So that resistance just creates a greater energy for whatever it is that you're trying to push down. He's saying, just be with it. Just, curiosity, as Angela said. Just be with that feeling. Be curious where it came up, where it's coming from for you. You don't have to name a story to it. That's what he says don't do. Don't create a story. That's the first thing we want to do. But without attachment or resistance, right? I'm not holding on to it. Oh, I got to make a story out of it. Or I'm not pushing it away. I'm just letting it drift. Because I was reading something the other day, and they were talking about, I think it was Mary O'Malley's "What's in the Way is the Way," and she was talking about emotions have an arc, and it's only about 90 seconds. And if you observe little children, and I know Jeannie has a little grandbaby, you can watch how they go through so many emotions so fast. Just they're so intensely angry and then they're giggling, or they're hungry and then they're sleepy, or whatever it is, they're thirsty and then it's just like they're going through all of this so quickly. And that actually is how energy is meant to move through us. We're not meant to ruminate and to hold on to a thought that is not serving us. If we do, we're just building an attachment to it. We're creating a thing that doesn't need to be a thing. So we can just allow it. Just allow it. Sometimes in meditation, have you had a meditation teacher just tell you, just as the thoughts come, let them drift by like clouds? Just let them move on, because they will. And then something else will come in its place. And you don't have to give any gravity to any of it. You can give it all the same, interesting. And then you just let it go. Just ignore the stories. I'm a story maker. I used to foster dogs, and I had a story for every one of those dogs in my mind, right? They have this aggressive behavior because of this, or they had this skittishness because of that, because I was trying to have an understanding and a compassion for them. But I don't really know what happened to very many of them before I got them. I just knew how they were showing up in the moment. Isn't that true for all of our friends and relatives? We don't know what they've been through. We just know how they're showing up. And sometimes it's not the best. But what if we're just curious, as Angela said? If we're just curious, we don't have to make a story about it. Oh, they had a bad day, or they had this, or their childhood was terrible. It's just how they're showing up. Just allow it to be what it is, and then let it move on. And here, I like this little explanation he gives. He says, as we become more familiar with letting go, because it's a practice, right? That letting go, it's a practice that we can strengthen. As we become more familiar with letting go, it will be noticed that all negative feelings are associated with our basic fear related to survival, and that all feelings are merely survival programs that the mind believes are necessary. So in that, a lot of this happens in our early childhood, and we don't even have memories attached to it. We had a moment that we almost drowned. I know that happened to me a couple of times. You have a deep-seated fear that comes into your system when you believe, whether it's realistic or not, whether it's a true existential threat to your survival, your existence as a human being or not, it's irrelevant, because you as a child believed it, and your nervous system took an imprint of that fear, and it can be triggered. But that trigger is not about the other person. Remember, get out of that victim mentality, right? It might have been my trauma, but just because someone's triggering it, it's not about the trigger. It's about the trauma that I can't even put my finger on. But those things in those lower level, lower chakra, as well as lower consciousness, fear, anxiety, shame, guilt, they are part of our survival mechanism. So the benefits of using this letting go process are emotional growth. Because when we're shut down, we can't grow. We need to expand in order to grow. We can have better problem solving. Just like Pam's prayers were answered in ways in which she did not expect, problems can be resolved when we're open to all the possibilities of solution. You know, Albert Einstein is famous for having said, the problem can't be solved at the same level of consciousness that created it. So if you're in the problem and I know in science, you know, you state your problem, right? You have your problem statement. And we do that in business as well. We have a problem statement. What is it we're trying to address? But you can't put all your attention on the problem statement. You have to open up to the possibility statement. The possibility comes through that affirmative prayer, through that opening of all the possibilities, through knowing that we don't have the answers in and of ourselves. It can change your lifestyle. It can resolve psychological problems and lead to transformation. I like this quote from Joe Dispenza. Thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. So we're putting those thoughts out there. But if we're attaching a thought to a feeling, and that's what that thought feeling has to mean, we're limiting it, right? And we're just going to get more of the same thing because the emotions are magnetic. So if we're curious, that's a better magnet to put out because if you're opening yourself up to all the possibilities. And I've mentioned this to you before, but one of the primary Hermetic principles is the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. So we're creating this inner balance, this inner clearing, this inner allowing of feelings, knowing that they will move, they will shift. We can do it intentionally, but we can also just let them be. And then notice the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, just like a child. You know, Jesus said, make yourself like little children. So this ties to unity principles. Our thoughts create our experiences, principle number 3. And number 5, knowing and understanding spiritual law is just the foundation. We have to put truth into action. When we understand truth, then we need to live it in our lives. Let's not just revert back to the same old way of doing things. And of course, all the 5 principles. God is everywhere present. I'm an expression of that. My thoughts create. This is the law of mind action. Prayer and meditation are how we get in touch, and then living the principles. God is, I am, I think, I pray, I do. So, we can make something happen at the level of our personality, or we can surrender and we can be yielding and allow it to happen from the soul level. And I hope that's given you a little bit more substance to this idea that we've just kind of been teasing along with various talks, just bringing you to it. But what it leads to is freedom, just a sense of joy. So what I want to do, we're right before we'll close, but I'll play you just some of this song. And as I play this song, and I'll go ahead and get it started, and I'll explain what I'd like for you to do. It's called Let It Go. So I want you to just go back to that center place where we've gone in prayer and meditation, and just open yourself up to, what is it
Things are just too
that I could let go of
and I'm
right now?
on so tight.
What could I notice if I'm just allowing my inner voice to reveal to me?
Without a fight,
What could I let go
I
of
long to feel that sweet release
that would allow me to be more joyful,
and pray.
more peaceful, more loving?
Stop, take a breath, relax, surrender, trust. Say, let it go, 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 let it go.
Is it a thought
Let it go.
or a judgment about yourself or another
Let
person?
it go, let 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 it go.
Is it regret?
Let it
guilt?
go, let it 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 go, let
Is
it
it
go,
shame?
let it go, 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 let it go.
Whatever your limiting thought toward yourself or
Let it
another,
go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it
let that arise now.
let it go, let it go, let it go.
Come to your awareness
Go,
so that you can let it go.
let it go, 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 let it go,
Let it rise up and drift away like a cloud.
let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go.
That was a simple little process, but it can be very powerful. So your weekly practice for this week is surrender. Let those feelings come up, bring your awareness to it, bring your acceptance, your allowing. Just let it be, and then let it go. Thank you for being with us today. And this is our opportunity to give. So whatever it is that you have to share with us today, if you'll hold it in your hand and Jeannie will come around. Do we have a basket?
Oh, did someone else get it?
There's on the bench over there.
Oh.
Yeah. So we appreciate you being here, and we also appreciate whatever you have to give. And if you're online watching live or later, you can just put your phone up there and capture the QR code and give online.